I've been to Vegas like probably 20 times, and I definitely think this is the slowest I've seen in a long time. You can find closed parking in the casinos, you can drive with no traffic. It's pretty smooth.
Las Vegas is dying. That's not clickbait. That's what industry analysts, casino owners, and economic experts are saying right now, as Las Vegas faces its worst tourism decline since the Great Recession. And it is affecting everything. Visitor numbers are down 11%. The gaming revenue is plummeting, and hotel occupancy rates are collapsing. But while Vegas bleeds tourists, there's another city, one you'd never expect, that's experiencing a gambling boom. And by the end of this video, I'll show you exactly which city is stealing Vegas's crown and why it represents the future of American gambling. But first, you need to see the numbers, because what's happening to Las Vegas right now is worse than anyone's admitting. The collapse nobody saw coming. Let's start with the numbers that should terrify every casino executive in Nevada. Through the first 7 months of 2025, Las Vegas has lost 2 million visitors compared to 2024. That's an 8% decline, but it gets worse. In March alone, visitor volume dropped 7.8% year over year. In May, it fell 6.5%. In June, an 11% decline. The Las Vegas Strip, which generated $6.8 billion in gaming revenue back in 2007, has now seen gaming revenue decline in 4 of the last 7 months. And September 2025 marked the first year-over-year decline since May. But while Vegas struggles, Louisiana casinos just reported a 2.9% revenue increase in September 2025 compared to the previous year. That's over $174.9 million in revenue in a single month. And in the first 7 months of the year, Louisiana's 17 casinos brought in $1.27 billion. Louisiana, a state most people don't even associate with gambling. While Sin City crumbles, the Bayou State is booming. One Reddit user summed up the Vegas experience perfectly. "I won't gamble at $25 tables. That's just not fun for my level." Another wrote, "Lower table limits would bring in more people and bring some more life and activity to the casino floor. What is the point of having a bunch of empty $25 tables when you walk through a casino?" And they're not wrong. In 2024, Vegas casinos raised their minimum table limits to absurd levels. Craps tables that used to be $5 are now $25. The Cosmopolitan had $50 minimum on craps tables. The Wynn, $100 minimum tables. This isn't just about expensive gambling. This is about Vegas systematically pricing out the middle class, the very people who built the city's reputation in the first place. But I'm getting ahead of myself, because to understand why gamblers are fleeing Vegas, you need to see what else they're charging for. And trust me, it's not just the tables. The nickel and dime nightmare. Cleveland residents Esther and Tom McElhenney have been visiting Las Vegas for 25 years. They're exactly the kind of loyal customers Vegas used to depend on. But after their most recent trip, Tom said something that should alarm every casino executive in Nevada. The allure here is gone. Vegas is really pricing people out. Let's break down what they're talking about. The average daily room rate on the Strip in August 2019 was $120.96. This year, $162.38. That's a 34% increase. But some resorts are charging far more. The Venetian offers rooms as high as $1,112 per night before resort fees. Resort fees. Those mandatory charges that add $50 per night to your room rate and taxes. They're not optional. You can't opt out, and they've become one of the most hated aspects of modern Las Vegas. Then there's parking. Major Strip resorts now charge for parking, something that used to be free. Valet parking can cost $30 or more per day. Food? Tom McElhenney said his family's dinner at Hell's Kitchen at Caesar's Palace cost $425. The two of them can't even drink. And I only ordered one. It was just super expensive, Esther McElhenney added. Another visitor, Patty Steiner from Chicago, said, "The prices are outrageous. The food is crazy. I'm just very unhappy." She's not planning to return in 2026. But what is devastating is that Las Vegas built its entire identity on being affordable. The cheap buffets, the $5 craps tables, The free drinks while you gambled, that was the promise. Come to Vegas, have fun, and you don't need to be rich to enjoy yourself. That promise is dead. Sean McBurney, Chief Commercial Officer of Caesars Entertainment, admitted in an interview, "There's no question that in some cases, we got too aggressive. Before the pandemic, Caesars offered $29 buffets. Now, the Bacchanal buffet costs $90. Let that sink in. A buffet, the ultimate symbol of Vegas value, now costs $90 per person. But wait until you see what's happening with international tourism, because this is where Vegas's problems become truly catastrophic. Before I show you exactly which city is stealing Vegas's gamblers and why it matters, hit that subscribe button. Because what I'm about to reveal explains the future of American gambling, and it's not in Nevada. The Canadian crisis. In 2024, Las Vegas welcomed roughly 5 million international visitors. Of those, 1.4 million were Canadian. That made Canada the largest source of international tourism to Vegas. But as of June 2025, Canadian arrivals have decreased by almost 18%. That's 280,000 fewer visitors if the trend continues through the year. Why? Geopolitics. Steve Hill, CEO of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, was so concerned that he personally traveled to Canada in August 2025 to appeal to the Canadian travel industry. Everybody involved in that conversation realizes that Canada is not just a friend. It's almost our family, Hill said at a tourism board meeting in September. He added that he had a similar trip to Hong Kong planned. But while Hill was in Canada begging tourists to return, those same Canadians were gambling elsewhere, and they weren't alone. One local business owner on Fremont Street said, "Compared with last year, it's so slow, it's dying." She noted that Saturday sales used to yield $21,000. This summer, closer to $3,000. But this should terrify casino owners, as it represents a fundamental shift in how Americans gamble. And that shift is happening in your pocket right now. The digital revolution. While Las Vegas tourism collapses, the U.S. online gambling market hit $12.68 billion in 2024. Analysts are predicting nearly 10% annual growth through 2030. Let me say that again, $12.68 billion and growing. In March 2025 alone, US-based iGaming revenue hit $905.6 million, a 26.2% increase from the previous year. By July 2025, the American Gaming Association reported $1.78 billion in online gaming revenue, a 20.8% jump over the prior year. This means that you can now bet on sports, play blackjack, spin slots, and bet on poker, all from your phone. No plane ticket, no hotel room, no $90 buffet, no $50 resort fees, no $100 minimum table limits. And younger gamblers aren't even considering Vegas. They've grown up with phones in their hands. Gambling online doesn't feel like a compromise. It feels normal. This simply means Vegas is no longer a gambling city. It's an entertainment city that happens to have casinos. While online gambling explodes and Vegas crumbles, there's one place where old school, in-person gambling is thriving, and it's not where you think. I'll show you exactly where gamblers are going instead, and why this one state represents everything Vegas used to be. The Louisiana boom. Remember those Louisiana numbers I mentioned earlier? $174.9 million in September 2025, a 2.9% increase. $1.27 billion in the first 7 months of the year. All of this is happening, and it is truly remarkable because it's happening in a state most Americans don't even associate with casinos. In 1990, Louisiana legalized casino riverboats. The first land-based casino, Cypress Bayou Casino Hotel, opened in 1993. For decades, land-based casinos were rare because the law required gambling to take place on boats plying the Mississippi River. But in 2018, everything changed. Louisiana relaxed its gambling laws, allowing riverboat casinos to become fixed. They didn't have to travel up and down the river anymore, and that opened the door for massive expansion. In 2023, the Old Hollywood Casino in Baton Rouge moved onto land and received an $85 million renovation. By the end of 2024, Caesars New Orleans completed a $435 million renovation, featuring more than 1,300 slot machines, 120 table games, and a 5,700 square foot Caesars sportsbook facility. More than 80,000 gamblers a month were flooding through the doors of a new $100 million casino in Kenner. But the real game changer came in June 2021, when Louisiana legalized sports betting. The law was passed after votes in all of the state's parishes, and now sports betting is legal in 55 of Louisiana's 64 parishes. Now, Louisiana casinos offer everything Vegas used to offer: reasonable table limits, affordable hotels nearby, no $50 resort fees, no $30 parking charges, no $90 buffets. The regional casino revolution. As gambling becomes legal in more states, everyday gamblers can visit casinos closer to home rather than traveling to Las Vegas. And those regional casinos are thriving. Atlantic City, New Jersey, the second largest gambling destination in the US, offers major resorts and a boardwalk atmosphere without the astronomical Vegas prices. Reno, Nevada, which was once the top gambling city before Las Vegas took over, remains popular with visitors who want a less flashy experience. Biloxi, Mississippi, features casino resorts along the Gulf Coast at significantly lower prices than those on the Strip. And then there's the international competition. Macau and Singapore have become gambling meccas for Asian tourists who used to travel to Vegas. Why fly to Nevada when you can gamble in your own region? This is bad for Las Vegas. This is the new normal. Guy Martin, president of Martin Harris Construction, the largest general contractor in Vegas, said Las Vegas is struggling with a vision. He's right. Vegas spent billions building the Sphere and Allegiant Stadium, hoping that spectacle would attract tourists. But those investments require charging premium prices just to break even. It's math, not greed, Martin said, defending resort fees because they pay for Strip upkeep instead of his taxes. The problem is that Americans don't care about math every day. They care that Vegas is no longer affordable. They care that a weekend trip now costs $2,000 instead of $500. They care that they're being priced out of a city that once welcomed them. The media myth. Now, here's where things get interesting. Despite all these numbers, despite the tourism collapse, despite the revenue declines, some industry insiders insist everything is fine. Ken Adams of CDC Gaming wrote an article titled "Las Vegas is Dying" is a 21st century positive feedback loop. His argument? The media loves negative headlines, so they're exaggerating the crisis. Reports of the death of resorts on the Strip are exaggerations, Adams wrote, paraphrasing Mark Twain. He's technically right about one thing. Nevada gaming revenue is still hitting $1 billion per month. The state has recorded 55 consecutive months of $1 billion or more in gaming. But here's what Adams and other defenders are missing. Those numbers only look good compared to the pandemic. If you compare 2025 to the record-breaking years of 2021 to 2023, Vegas is absolutely in decline. Vegas's decline might be the canary in the coal mine for the broader US economy. And here's the most revealing part. Even casino CEOs are admitting things are rough. Remember what Golden Entertainment CEO Blake Sartini said? It's hard to look beyond that, given the uncertainty in the macro environment in town. That's corporate speak for, we don't know what's going to happen and we're worried. The future, nobody wants. So, where does this leave Las Vegas? The city is betting everything on conventions, major sporting events, and ultra-wealthy tourists. Formula One is coming back in November. The Super Bowl returned earlier this year. WrestleMania is scheduled for April 2026. The campaign highlights affordable options, such as $15.99 prime rib on Fremont Street. But highlighting affordable options only proves that Vegas has become fundamentally unaffordable. If the city's tourism authority has to remind people that cheap options exist, that means most aren't. And the numbers prove it. According to recent polling, 46% of Nevada residents say Las Vegas has become too expensive to visit. Not for tourists from other states, for locals, for people who live in Nevada. Think about that. Half of Nevadans can't afford to visit their own state's most famous city. Meanwhile, in Louisiana, casinos are expanding. In Atlantic City, resorts are renovating. In states across America, regional casinos are opening their doors to middle-class gamblers who used to go to Vegas. But here's the question nobody's asking. What happens when even the ultra-wealthy decide Vegas isn't worth it anymore? The choice ahead. So here's where we are. Las Vegas, the city that defined American gambling for 80 years, is facing an existential crisis. Visitor numbers are collapsing. International tourism is evaporating. Middle-class gamblers are being priced out. And alternative gambling destinations, both online and in other states, are thriving. But Vegas executives keep insisting everything is fine. They keep raising prices. They keep building billion-dollar stadiums and spheres. They keep betting that spectacle alone will bring tourists back. And maybe they're right. Maybe conventions, Formula One, and Super Bowls will be enough. Maybe the ultra-wealthy will keep coming, and Vegas will transform into something new. Something more exclusive, more expensive, more distant from its roots. Or maybe, just maybe, Vegas is learning the same lesson that every business eventually learns. When you abandon your core customers in pursuit of higher margins, those customers find somewhere else to go, and they don't come back. Right now, Vegas is choosing the first option, and Louisiana, Atlantic City, Reno, Biloxi, and 100 regional casinos are saying, thank you for the customers. If this video opened your eyes to what's really happening in Las Vegas, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. So here's my question for you. Have you noticed Vegas becoming too expensive? Have you stopped going? Or have you found alternatives, such as Louisiana casinos or online gambling? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear from you, especially if you're one of those former Vegas regulars who found somewhere else to gamble. Check out the other videos on the channel where we break down everything happening behind the scenes in Las Vegas.